saa zile kiongozi wa nchi hayuko katika nchi. Waache kuleta mivutano na kwenda kuvuruga ofisi ya Jubilee. Kwa sababu kiongozi wa Jubilee ni Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Na kama wanataka nafasi ama kuna jambo lolote lile, wacha waende walitatulie pale, wasiende kuleta maneno pale kwa Jubilee headquarters, kwa sababu wale wako pale tu ni wafanyikazi.
You cannot tell us we will not meet in that office in Pangani, my friend. We will be there Monday, we will be there Tuesday, we will be there Wednesday, we will be there Sunday, for as long as our money is funding that office and our votes brought the number of resources that are given by government, we shall be in that office.
And I want to promise Rafael Tuju, dig in for a fight, my friend. Hii ni boma yetu. Unatuambia tuende wapi? Unataka tuende wapi?
So umetuzoea Tuju, ndio maana sasa you have come so much. Now you are talking about us being strangers within our own party that we helped create.
That is our party. Na hii ndio tunakomboa nyumba gani? Nyumba hiyo. Na kama kunafika siku ya kusema watu wawachane, tumefika sasa.
We will never leave Jubilee the way it is. We will destroy it completely. We will bring it down completely. We are not just going to live like people who are getting married. We will not.
Wow, didn't they have a lot to say? They have come too much, watu wawachane, and will destroy it. Senator Mithika Linturi, of course, those leaders that just spoke there, apart from Sabina Chege, they are perturbed by the statement from Rafael Tuju. And I saw you at the steps of Jubilee House. I was there. We tried to raise questions with you, didn't allow us, but now I have the opportunity. And so you said that this was not a coup attempt, and now Rafael Tuju comes the following day saying, don't step there. And the deputy president, actually, there's a consideration to dethrone him from the deputy party leadership. What are you going to do?
Sam, don't send the wrong impression to the audience, because you did not at any time reach out to me to seek my views on what we have done. Because
I was there shouting so loud.
I did not get anybody.
I was
No, I even asked Gashuri to send me a camera somewhere because I want them to reply to you. So let's not engage with that one. And then I won't be able to answer you right now. Yes, I was there, and I think I was so clear. But the most unfortunate thing that I am able to read from Tuju is because, in my view, even I don't think whether he even understands the party constitution itself. Because when you look at the party constitution, I think Article 33, either Article 2, 5 of the Jubilee party constitution itself, talks about the party leader shall be, the president shall be the leader of the Jubilee party. The deputy leader shall be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. You don't need anything in the party constitution to clearly define what the mandate of the deputy leader is, because if you read it together and if you are to construe it in the context of the constitution, the deputy leader is supposed to deputize the party leader. It's so plain. But I don't know why people have to look at the constitution selectively or in a manner that probably suits themselves, and that is what I would say is an indication of dishonesty from the part of our leadership. But one thing I must say, because I'm one of the people that worked day and night to bring Jubilee to where it is, I am telling you, if you are done with somebody and you really cannot agree, there is a better way of trying to part ways or to bring it to a closure with a lot of respect, so that at least one feels that there is even that aspect of respect for human dignity. And what you see, what we are finding or we are hearing is we are being treated in Jubilee as if we are strangers. And many of us do not know what we did in the background, at the forefront, to ensure Jubilee is what it is. And I'm telling you, I have no fear in my mind. If this is the kind of arrogance we'll continue getting, or the treatment that we are going to get, and yet people have no, people have no conscience. We cannot be feeding you and then insulting you. And it depends me when I pay money to this party. And the party that I have now, I must be told that you can't get to our office. And yet they are not telling us, suspend your subscriptions. We are just asking for simple things. Why can't we have a meeting and discuss the cause of our party? But you understand, Sam,
You're right.
that the people that are sitting at the office or the people that purport to have a pen for this party are people that have already found another suitor. There are people whose office is in Pangani physically, but their mind and soul is sitting at Orange House. Their presidential candidate for 2022 is sitting at Orange House. So the only business here is to suffocate, is to deal a serious blow to Jubilee so that it becomes weak. What you do call of a situation where a party in general stands and says, we are not going to field a candidate in Mombasa or somewhere because we are in an handshake. Political parties are supposed to compete. Political parties are supposed to nurture democracy. Our constitution itself and Article 38 says that you cannot bring any unreasonable restrictions to buy anybody from a political party. Jubilee is a mass movement. It's a mass political party. People want to run with it. How does an individual or
Senator Linturi,
people say that you will not sponsor candidates? Please allow me. Let me say this. Please.
No, I'm not disrupting you. I'll give you a chance. I want you to listen to the president who spoke in France, because many Kenyans will get lost on what is really the bone of contention within the Jubilee party. So, Senator Linturi, let's listen to the president first, as he was asked about supporting the deputy president in 2022.
Okay.
Right, we're waiting to listen to President Uhuru Kenyatta on supporting Ruto in 2022. Of course, he spoke while speaking to France 24, a channel in France, on what should happen in 2022. Let's listen.
Cannot commit today that you will support him in
My
2022.
commitment is not to him. My commitment is to this process. My commitment is to peace, stability, and prosperity for the people of my republic. That is my #1 function. Once we're over that hill, once, as I said, we now start talking about elective positions, you can ask me that question.
Senator Linturi, the president says that for now it's not a time to talk about succession and whether he'll support Deputy President William Ruto, but focusing on peace. That would appear like a very nationalistic view. Do you have a problem with that? And where is this parting shot that you're saying it's so much untenable that now we are where we are?
But of course the president is right. You know, the president has his agenda to deliver, and the president has committed to what he calls the handshake and the unity of the country. And remember, it's also tied between two very strong forces. The force led by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and his actual deputy, who is a candidate in the 2020 election. And remember, this 2022 election, and remember, the most likely, I'm saying most likely, that the deputy president will be competing with the Honorable Raila Odinga. And for him, he wants support from the two. He wants peace to ensure that his the 2 years remaining to the end of his term are peaceful and is able to achieve. So anybody that is politically minded and is the end of a nation like Kenya, like President Uhuru Kenyatta, will just answer that question just like the president did, and I thank him for that, because you can imagine if he said, I support Raila Odinga or I support Uhuru Kenyatta, the country will just be divided. So the best thing, and what I would really ask him to do, is to continue that way and ensure that Kenyans are given an opportunity to decide who their leader is. I have supported them since 1997 and up to now, and I've never voted for anybody else, by the way. And I would want them to behave just like Kebaki did, and left the people to concede when nobody believed in him and his deputy. So in my view, because this is a commitment I made to the party, that we are going to do it up to 2022, we will continue supporting him. But I can tell you the problem and the chaos that we are finding us in is because we have a team that now joined us thinking that they were genuine enough, and I thought they gave us a poison or at least chalice, and right now, when you see what is happening, and especially in the war that we are in the party, is like those people in the Bible that were presented, the two women that were presented before King Solomon, fighting over a child. And you remember what the mother, the woman that was not the biological mother of the child, was saying that the child has to be split in between the two so that the child would die. So whatever you see is from, especially from our side, it's because we are very concerned because we wouldn't want to see the death of Jubilee. We want Jubilee, and we are ready to defend it. And because there was an agenda, there was a manifesto, and that's why people trusted us and they elected for us. We are the people
Senator,
that
that's interesting.
That to have the highest responsibility to the people, trying to explain to them why Jubilee did not deliver. Yet these other people want us to fail, so that all the blame now will be on us.
Senator, that's interesting that you should say, you should bring the narrative of the two women and the child, and the one who was not the mother wanted the child killed. There are some members of parliament from your side who are saying that we are going to destroy it completely. So I'll be raising that question with Caleb KOSITANY. Let's listen to Raphael Tuju when he spoke about supporting one president at a time.
We pledge our support and loyalty to President Uhuru Kenyatta until the end of his term. And we will not countenance any attempted power grab as was witnessed yesterday. We serve one president at a time.
So, Caleb KOSITANY, that is supposedly your boss at the party because he's the Secretary General, you're the Deputy Secretary General. And I want to take this as an exit from this conversation. So what happens next? Still Deputy Secretary General, some members saying that you're going to destroy the party, others saying that we're not going anywhere. So what should you do?
Well, Sam, when you see the kind of disrespect and dishonesty and the lack of coordination that is going on in Jubilee, you will understand the frustration of members of parliament who are paying an annual monthly subscription to the party. It is actually now a case whereby you are the landlord, you are the one paying you are the landlord, and the tenant tells you you cannot go and even inspect your building. This reminds me of the famous quote by, I think it was the British High Commissioner at one time, who said people are vomiting on our shoes. I think now Tuju is vomiting on the shoes of the elected representatives of the Jubilee Party. But it's a story that is ongoing. I'm sure we will be engaging. We are expecting the president, who I believe flew back in yesterday from his to France, to call a NEC meeting, and then we shall go and listen and see what's on the agenda and iron out these issues. But let me say something also, Sam, on the question that you played a clip of the president being asked who he would support, whether he would support the deputy president in 2022. I think that question should not arise. The president is under no obligation whatsoever to support the deputy president. The deputy president will go out and seek his votes. The president is under no obligation. We don't hold him for anything to support the deputy president. The president is free to support any candidate he wants, or he can just keep quiet and leave a level playing field for those who are going for their seats in 2022. Well, let us stop trying to get our president to take sides on this 2022 issue. But what we ask as a party, as members of the Jubilee Party, is respect. Because why wasn't this all this disrespect and dishonesty and intimidation, why wasn't it shown before the 2017 election? Because they needed us. They needed us to vote in the party. They needed the victory. Now that the victory has been secured, now it is time to show us Madarao. But I also want to say this. Let them look at what is happening. There's been a lot of intimidation. A lot of our colleagues have had court cases. There is the threats of arrest every now and then. But the team is still growing. The resolve is there. People are saying it doesn't matter how much you threaten us. It doesn't matter the intimidation. We are growing strong. So let them know that, as Senator Linturi said, we represent people. We speak because our constituents tell us, stick with William Ruto. He is our hope. We are seeing a future with him, and that is where we're going to stick.
Okay, all right. You say they wanted our vote. I'm just wondering who they are. But all the same, let's listen to, as we transition to the next conversation about the state of politics in the country. And yesterday we saw the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga saying that the BBI report will be unveiled soon. Let's listen to him first.
Na tutachapisha ili Wakenya wote wasome. Wengine waanza kupinga na bado hawajaona. Unapinga kitu ambacho wewe hujasoma. Wewe ndio wakati tulikuwa leta hii katiba mpya ulipinga. Tukasema kulikuwa 20% mbali mbaya ya rekebisho. Sasa tukisema sasa wakati imewadia leta yale ambayo ulikuwa unasema ni mbaya. Unasema kuna kitu mbaya katika hii katiba.
All right, so that's the former Prime Minister there saying that when the Constitution was enacted in 2010, there was 20%, I don't know who quantified that was not right, that needed to be relooked. So, Edwin Sifuna, you're the Secretary General of the former Prime Minister, and now we saw the first report on November 27th. It's now nearly 1 year, of course, shy of with about almost 2 months. And now we are told that the report is coming to review some sections of the Constitution. Why has it taken so long? I know you don't sit in that manner. You're not the Prime Minister, you're not the President. But why has it taken so long and causing all the jittery that we hear, especially from the Deputy President's camp, about laws that want to be, or the Constitution that needs to be amended?
Sam, I'm happy that you ask and answer your own questions because you know that I would have no idea as to the President's diary, and we believe that he's the one who has control of that particular process because the report is supposed to be presented to him and the Prime Minister. But just to speak to what he was saying there is that we have seen in the past that even before the report was released in Bomas, we were hearing the same noises. People were already opposed to that document. And it did not surprise me that after they had opportunity to read it, when it was launched in Bomas, everybody came back to say they were very happy with it. I also want to remind you that after the release of the report in Bomas, what was to follow was a validation exercise. And that validation exercise took place across the country. I believe by the time that Corona struck, we were left with very few consultative meetings, but the steering committee promised us that the work went on behind the scenes. They had also issued a statement to say that there would be no new matters that are introduced outside the report that was launched in Bomas. So from that particular perspective, it is fairly easy for us to, speculate on the contents of the final report. We know that their role was to distill the views that have been received and validated by Kenyans, and then to separate them into 3 categories, views or proposals that require constitutional amendment, those that require only administrative action, and those that require legislative work to be able to bring into fruition the views of Kenyans. So it is possible for us to be able to say with some level of certainty that what is going to be in that report is not a surprise because the report was already presented to Kenyans in Bomas. But what we are seeing is some very serious levels of hypocrisy because whenever a country is having a conversation about its problems, if you consider yourself somebody with any sort of solution, you should come to the table and share that wisdom that you have. But we have seen that some people in this country who hold very high office, first of all, refuse to participate in this process. Even with repeated promises that they would lend us their wisdom, we are yet to hear what their solutions, for instance, to the gender question is. Right. We have seen squabbles between the judiciary and the executive. As ODM, we have proposed a mechanism to be able to resolve that. These are real problems. We are talking about empowerment of youth. We have proposed in that exercise that going forward, youth enterprises be allowed some space in terms of the tax obligations for them to be able to cement themselves before they start paying that tax. So there are real solutions to real problems in that document. And we are hoping that everyone will be at least willing to have a conversation. But I don't think anybody will be supposed to accept anything, but at least let us have a conversation.
Okay, SG Sifuna, for such a potentially polarizing issue, because already people have taken sides even before the report, do you think it's the right thing to pursue at this point in time when you know that there will be an election in about 22 months? So would you want to put another political contestation in the name of a referendum in between?
That's why I'm saying, Sam, it doesn't have to be a contestation. I believe there are certain things that everybody agrees are problematic. You know that now, for instance, there's an advisory to dissolve parliament because of a failure to enact legislation on the two-thirds gender rule. Now, if there is actually a proposal that came from our side to resolve that question, I don't know why anyone would have a problem with it. It doesn't have to be a contestation. Doesn't everybody agree that, for instance, on the appointment of judges, something needs to be done? And some of the problems that were sought to be addressed through the BBI process have to do with elections, including how we constitute the electoral body. So you cannot say that we wait until 2022, yet some of the problems that brought us here have to do with the elections, and the solutions have been proposed in the BBI process. Okay, all right, Senator MWAURA, we have very little time remaining. I want the other leaders also to say something about this topic. But when you look at all these division and the lines already being drawn, what do you think would be the best solution out of this, knowing that the BBI is potentially divisive, the BBI report that is, the referendum that would come? How do we maneuver through this?
First and foremost, there are two issues that we need to recognize, is that there is a set of grievances, and then there is a content of the BBI. Now, the grievances that are informing the side that SIFUNA represents are pertaining to the outcome of the last general election, what you would call electoral justice, and the feelings of exclusion, in the society, hence the BBI. The second set of grievances are the squabbles within Jubilee. You see, that is it, and you can see I'm in full Jubilee colors. And I always come to your show sometimes when with the other red and whatever, because I believe so. There is that challenge. So those are the two sets of grievances around personalities and agreements, around the sharing the cake and all of that. Now come to the BBI. BBI gives us an opportunity to audit the functionality of the Constitution 10 years later. Certainly, in my opinion, there are issues. I mean, sitting in Parliament, I see contradictions. For example, I stand very strongly to say there is no requirement in law and timeline to have a single bill or act of parliament about the two-thirds. There isn't. And that misnomer is highly unacceptable, that then we are actually being told the parliament can be dissolved. But the point is, now this is it may turn out to be a personality contest rather than issue-based, where you look at the report. Because you can see the issue is about change the conversation, not the Constitution. And KOSITANY has said that very clearly. Now, my thinking would have been that let us look at what is the content. Personally, for me, I'm waiting to see the document and then make a determination whether really it addresses the concerns about how we are recalibrating the state to suit to the needs of our people in a multi-ethnic community in a manner that then would actually move the country forward. Right. But currently, the way I'm seeing, we are going back to the 2010, where people are saying, kama Raila amesoma iko sawa. So now it will be Raila versus Ruto and what they are supporting, you see. And basically, these plebiscites are not just for the sake of the document. They are also used to galvanize political support to show where you actually are as a pre-match to the 2022 general election. All of those are factors that need to be considered. All right.
Senator Linturi, in a short response, so now we are seeing the narratives drawing between the Hustler Nation versus the pro-reform, and I mean reforming the Constitution. What do you think is the best solution out of this? Because, I mean, it's not a problem to have ideologies. You can have ideologies and compete on the political field. But how do we ensure that this leaves the country united without causing more fissures in the society?
Sam, let me be candid in this matter and say that this is not the right time to talk or to bring about constitutional amendments. Remember, a constitution is a revered document. It's a document that lays the framework under which we must run our affairs. And if we feel there are areas that require some adjustments because it's not supposed to be static, our lives are dynamic, we have a reason to address them. But why I'm saying it's not the right time, because other than addressing the real issues in the Constitution, we'll be pushed to a corner whereby we will lose sight of the very serious arguments on the Constitution and then go to personalities or individuals. That is my serious problem. And again, you also need to look at the process that is expected to inform constitutional change. Right. BBI, as far as I'm concerned, is just a report of two individuals or an agreement, the two reports of two gentlemen that sat in a Rambe house and decided to take us through this music by coming up with the report which has kept us busy for a very long time.
Right.
And with a lot of respect, remember Sam, our constitution under Article 255, 256 and 257 is the one that sets out the procedure and the manner in which we can amend our constitution, and the only two ways available is through parliamentary initiative and
referendum
and the popular initiative. So until when the BBI report is out and is distilled to bills that are intended to inform constitutional amendments, then it cannot be anything else. It doesn't have any force of law. It doesn't have any legal power authority to address or to be really given time that we are giving it. And finally, remember, even while there are issues right now, there is, for those that are scholars of constitutional law, there is a doctrine that we call the basic structure and doctrine. And basic structure and doctrine is some where you realize there are certain features in a constitution that are so basic that cannot just be amended by parliament. That must be discussed and people must have agreed, or now they really want to address those issues because they are so basic and they are so inherent in the people. So,
all right, Senator.
When we find two people coming up with a document that has kept us
Senator, allow me to cut you short
without seeking our opinion.
Okay. Senator, sorry, I have to cut you short because I need to take the final view of Caleb KOSITANY, Member of Parliament for Soy, on this conversation. And I want you to respond to this specifically. So, in 2002, the National Rainbow Coalition won the presidential election. They didn't do so when it came to 2007 election because Kibaki defended his seat on PNU. Come 2013, PNU was down and new formations won the election, that is TNA and URP. Then they dissolved to form Jubilee Party. And it appears the Jubilee Party will not leave until 2022. Is there a cause for parties that win elections? And do you think it is a wrong idea for the nearly 13 political parties to wind up and become Jubilee Party?
Well, Sam, that is why I've always held the view that our problem is not the Constitution. Our problem is the leaders that we have. We really need to search ourselves and respect constitutional political parties as vehicles that are for the masses, not for individuals. I have always said, and I'm on record as saying, Jubilee Party is not being run as a political party, it's being run as a private members club. And Senator, my good friend, Senator MWAURA has put it, Jubilee is going the route that KANU took. You remember KANU had about 100 and something members of parliament, went down to 67, now went down to 14. Now they are down to less than 5 representatives in both houses, and that is the danger. But let me say something about the BBI, Sam, because as we are winding up, I have always held the position that we do not need to have a constitutional moment now. Even before Corona, that was my position. Now, after Corona, it even strengthens my resolve that right now is not the right time to have the constitutional changes. It is an expensive affair. We have had statistics say that 1.8 million Kenyans have lost their jobs. Thousands of Kenyans cannot afford to pay rent. If you ask all these members who are here, the number of messages that they get from their constituents to help them sort out small financial obligations, which they would have otherwise met if things were moving right. Those are the areas that we need to focus. I also want to say this, Sam, as I wind up to Kobia, because I had him say something about the hustler tag and this conversation that it will draw a wage. I want to tell Mr. Kobia, with all due respect, the hustler tag has helped us and is going to help us sort out the tribal politics that we've had in Kenya. It has changed the conversation from being a Kalenjin, me being a Kikuyu, being a Kisi, being a Luo, being a Kamba, being a Masai, to being a hustler, one tribe in Kenya that we will all rally behind.
Honorable KOSITANY, sorry, I have to cut you short because you're out of time. Thank you for that. When we hear you, we'll see whether that narrative holds until the end of time. So, just a moment. Brian Okech and Moai says that when issues started arising in the ruling party, they had a choice to come together and iron out issues in private. This party chose to treat the public to their drama without a care if they were disappointing the voter. The fall in the party is their own making. That's Brian Okech, who is watching us, I believe. Well, he doesn't sit from where. So, Caleb KOSITANY, thank you so much. Senator Isaac MWAURA, Senator Mithika Linturi and SG Edwin Sifuna from ODM, thank you so much for making time for us on Daybreak to talk about those matters. Up next is Sporty Monday. Willis Raburu and his crew members will be here to take a look at the action that was over the weekend.